Okay. Good morning, everyone. I usually need more than 20 minutes for my English to warm up, so I hope I will really say what I mean, and I hope you all understand it. Besides being a diver, I am also a member of a research institute called HTC, História, Territórios e Comunidades, working with Nova University in Lisbon. We have been doing research on wrecks of the Great War. Since 2014, with the centenary of the Great War, it was a good opportunity to show up the relevance of the wrecks of the Great War as underwater cultural heritage. And now, by this we mean the wrecks in Portuguese waters. Let me just... Okay. Today I will share with you the research we have done on the Norwegian steamer Terje Viken, which was the first ship to be sunk in Portuguese waters after Germany declared war on Portugal in 1916. It was a cargo steamer that was sailing from the United States with a cargo of wheat to Lisbon. In 1916, there was some problems with, sorry, I said that I need some time to warm up. There was a lack of bread and wheat and so on in Portugal, in Lisbon, due to the war. This ship was sailing from the United States to Lisbon with a cargo of wheat, and that was the name that the wreck became known to the fisherman community after it sank. Since the beginning of the war, one of the main concerns of the Portuguese Navy was submarine war. The German submarines that were found on the Atlantic were beginning to be seen near the shore of Portugal. At the time, the Portuguese Navy was a typical 19th century navy, where most of the ships were gunboats from the colonies in Africa. Portugal didn't have a modern navy like England or Germany or France, and worse than that, we are not prepared to fight the submarine threat in what minefields were concerned. And if we look at the archives, we can see that the presence of German submarines in Portuguese water was constant all over the years of the war. So we can check all the war logs of German submarines, and we can see them going around Portuguese waters and sinking the Portuguese merchant fleet. And of course, the main concern was the harbour of Lisbon and of Porto. At the time, Portugal did not have a minesweeper division or a minesweeper service ready to respond to the threat that the German mines posed since 1916. It started on April 1916 with a mission from England that came to Portugal to give instruction and to teach the Portuguese Navy how to sweep mines. But right before that, on the beginning of April, German submarine U-73 en route to the Adriatic just happened to come across Lisbon Harbour on the dawn of April 17. It was a UE-1 type, submarine. There's some of the characteristics of the submarine. We didn't found so far any pictures from U-73, but you get the idea from some other submarines from the same type. And on the very same day, we know that U-73 was in Lisbon, at the entrance of Lisbon Harbour on April 17 at dawn. And on the very same day, a few hours later, the Norwegian steamer Terje Viken just reached Lisbon. The steamer tried to enter the harbour, but was not given permit to enter the harbour and was told to wait in a place 4 miles south of the village of Cascais. And the point was that it was exactly the spot where U-73 had placed a minefield. So the 100 meters steamer collided with 2 of the mines laid by U-73. It was very a shock to everyone in Portugal, because when we here in Portugal talk about the Great War, most of the people think about the war in France, in the trenches, far away from Portugal. At the time in Portugal, the Great War was known as the, as the European War, was something that was taking place far away from home. And then, by the sea, the war came to Portugal. And it was a shock that at the entrance of the main Portuguese harbour, Lisbon, the capital, German submarines had just placed a mine and a steamer sank. It made front pages from most of the newspapers. We have today access to all the reports written at the time by the report done by the Norwegian commandant of the ship, the Norwegian official reports, and as it was the first time this happened, the Portuguese Navy also made an intensive investigation about what happened. Later on, when we started doing all the research to find all the ships sunk during the Great War in Portuguese waters, we come across the U-73 logbook, which give us all the position of the minefields, as well as the points in the Portuguese coast where the submarine have taking references, so we know exactly how the voyage of the submarine was. And besides having the exact geographic coordinates from both the minefields or the mine barriers, as you may call it, here we have the coordinates. We have also a sketch made by someone on board the submarine, where you can see the village of Cascais, the village of Oeiras, and Lisbon would be somewhere here. This is the entrance of the river Tagus, and we have the position of the mines laid here and another one here. So we have all the information that could allow us to at least start looking for the wreck. We knew that the wreck took about 40 minutes to sink, so we could start looking for the wreck starting from these positions. The first thing we did was to try to find the coordinates. We had the geographical coordinates on a current chart with the WGS 84, and to make it, try to find the place, the spot where the ship sank, and we just found the place there, to be there. But we knew that since it sunk in 1917, the wreck was known to fishermen. Fishermen usually don't know the history of the sinking, don't know the name of the ship, but they have their own way of memorizing and to pass from father to son all the knowledge about the things and the places where fishing is good. As you may understand, in a bottom of sand, a wreck with 100 meters is a good place for fish to live. So immediately fishermen know where to go and fish, places with lots of fish. And this wreck was known as the wheat because it was a bulk freighter, and when it sunk, there was wheat floating all over. And in the beginning of the 80s, it was published a very interesting book where that we know for the first time an old fisherman shared with an anthropologist his notebook with all the places where he used to fish and where most of the places were wrecks. This is not common for a fisherman to share his knowledge with someone outside of his community. So all this to say that one thing that we at my research center tried to do was to establish a good relationship with members of the fishing community, hoping that they would share with us the knowledge that would allow us to look not only for this wreck, but from other wrecks. Okay. In 2016, we started a very interesting relation with the Portuguese Idrographic Institute, which belongs to the Navy. They have high-tech equipments that we don't have. And at the time, what we asked from them, of course, they don't spend their time looking for our wrecks because that's not their mission. But what we asked them to do was when they go out on their missions, if they happen to sail on the same positions where we would like to check if there's something, they would kindly switch on their side scans and their multi-beams, and they just read it and share with us if they find anything. And they did. On November 2019, for the first time, we gave them the coordinates a member of the Cascais fishing community shared with us. And once they had the opportunity, they sailed on this position, switched on their side scan, and there it was, seen for the first time, the wreck of the Terje Viken. About a year later, you can see that the wreck, as I told you before, collided with two mines. The report mentions 2 explosions for sure, maybe a third explosion. And as you can see, the wreck is pretty broken. It's very collapsed. About a year later, a different ship from the Idrographic Institute, this time with a multi-beam, sailed across the spot, and this time they get the images from the multi-beam on August 2020. So by now we were pretty sure about the coordinates and the position of the wreck. So it was time to try to dive it and to take some images of the wreck. The problem is that at the mouth of the river Tagus, the tides are very, very strong. And the conditions of the weather of the sea are usually very rough. So this wouldn't be an easy dive to schedule, mainly because of the weather. And also at the mouth of the river, we have all the mud and the silt from the river coming out to sea, because this wreck is really in the middle of the mouth of the river Tejo, or Tagus. But finally, just last week, just in time for diving talks, we had an excellent day with very exceptional weather conditions. And we meet this guy from Cascais who have this kind of, it seems like a small toy landing craft. But the sea was exceptionally calm, and this kind of landing craft has enough room for a couple of divers with rebreathers and all the equipment. And then we went, tried to check and see the wreck for the first time. You can see here the village of Cascais on the back. We took this small one with the echo sounder. We tried to locate the wreck, and it was easy. There we find the wreck at a depth of 71 meters. And after that, we threw a shot line with two big balloons. Here is the village of Cascais, Estoril, Oeiras more to the right, and Lisbon, it's out of the picture. This is the Serra de Sintra. And so 4 nautical miles south of the Guia lighthouse, that's over there, just in the exact position of the reports from 1917 said the ship had sunk, and exactly on the line between the lighthouse and the third top of the hill, as the fisherman had noted on this very old notebook, there it was, the wreck of the Terje Viken. As I have told you, this location doesn't have the best visibility. It's just in the mouth of the river, lots of silt, very dark, lots of mud. I have a small 3 minutes video just to share with you, just for you to believe that, in fact, some images were taken from the wreck, but please don't expect very nice images like the ones we've seen before and the ones we will see after. Just, you will see, this is very, very dark. Okay. It's just to make it fun and to have some images to show you, so in order not to be a very static presentation. But we've all here seen better. The divers told us that until about 27, 30 meters depth, they were very surprised with the visibility. It was unusually good. But once they went below 30, 31 meters, it became like coffee with milk. And below 60, it was coffee with milk at night. But anyway, the wreck is in fact very, very collapsed. But there is a wreck there. And it was the first dive, as you have understood by now. It was the first time that this wreck was dived, and our expectations is to go back with better cameras, better light, and try to register with the quality superior to this little video that I'm sharing with you today. According to the image of the side scan, the divers believe they have been at the stern, where all the hull is collapsed and open. They have done about 25 minutes bottom time. They have explored an area around the shot line. That's what we've been seeing here on this little video, short video. Before this wreck, like 4 years ago, we have located the first ship of the Portuguese Navy that was sunk during the war. But it was a small trawler, 60-meter trawler, that was working as a mine sweeper. 15 people died on the sinking of the mine sweeper. And this one here, no one died on this wreck, but it was the first one to be sunk on Portuguese waters during the Great War. The small trawler minesweeper was the first ship to be sunk in Portuguese waters where sailors died. So it was also a shock. But this was the team on board. So, goals for the future. What we plan to do now, as I told you, is to get back to dive the wreck. It won't be easy because of the location of the wreck and the conditions. And we have another 2 iron hull wrecks that we would like to find. We know it will be more difficult because they are small ships, not 100 meters steamers. And on all these process, we care to involve the users of the sea to work with us, because we believe that if divers and fishermen are involved in all the process of research in an equal position with historians and the academic researchers, their position will be more valued and they will be more enthusiastic and cooperating with us. Because this is not what have happened before. Most of the experiences of collaboration between the academic community and fishermen that so far have been about 8 wooden hull ships, like 18th century and before, they didn't have the success that was expected. And we hope we can change that and bring divers and fishermen to work with us. And then we give back all the knowledge to the community, being it in, of course, we try to publish in academic magazines, but at the same time in more accessible, let's put it that way, magazines, websites, and so on. And we have been working with town halls and the municipalities where the wrecks are and try to disseminate the knowledge. And that's it. That's the only way we feel people can understand help to protect and maintain the underwater cultural heritage if they are involved in the process of finding it and researching for it. And I think that's all. 1 minute? Yeah. There you are. Thank you.